How's it going? It's 1:24 p.m. in the afternoon. Ooh, I'm tired. Uh, it's September 16th, Saturday, 2023. I'm going to get my auto, audible credit tomorrow. Yeah, see what there is. I can't remember what I put on my little wish list, but I'm listening to Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire now. I'm on book 3. Yeah, I did a book a day. It was like 700 pages the first book, 800 pages the second book, and then the third book it's like 3,200 pages. So, anyway, my phone. So, yeah. So here's my Saturday, right there. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Really? Oh no, here. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, and then I have to. There's these 3 others that I have to do. So. And then it's across. Yeah, so I was looking forward to it. Yeah, I was super tired. Yeah, I was up all night, so I could actually lie down and go to sleep now. Like I was working, and then I realized I didn't. I'm like burnt out. Don't want to work anymore. I was thinking about going to the yawning like crazy to the reptile store like right now, and then I could go to the store. I don't think I will. I'm too tired. I'm gonna lie down right now. Go to the store and get an energy drink, but this morning I already did that. I got 2 energy drinks, 344 grams of caffeine each, and just went through. Yeah, caught up. I'm keeping. I also got weed this morning. There's this new dispensary that popped up, and I kept forgetting it existed. I always go to the ones I'm used to, and it's like right next to the one really close. Farm's there, and it's right next to it. Can't remember what it's called, but I went in there and I got a ounce and a half of top shelf, or was it an ounce of top shelf? Yeah, it's a top shelf for $150. So I got that for $150. It smells real good. It's called Strawberries and Cream from Silver Lake Holdings. It's got sativa 32.43 THC. Because I was smoking this other stuff called from the farm called Diagonal, which only has 20.39 THC, and it was like $173. So this stuff is cheaper, better stuff, and cheaper. So I think I'm gonna start going to that other place now. Yeah, they're saying they're the cheapest. It's really big, converted restaurant. That's why I had left for it. From the farm, I figured I'd get more because I was running low and the stuff was kind of weak. So, yeah, I'll talk more about what I learned in the book. You know, you learn a lot when you listen to the book and history a lot. You get a feel for what's going on in history and the different time periods. Get a feel for being there. Basically, what happened with the Roman Empire was, it just crumbled from greed. You know, kind of from the inside out. As much as from the outside in. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. Because I'm tired. Yesterday or something, I got. I don't know if I talked about it, but I think it was 1,000 itty bitty dubia roaches in the mail. Last time I did that, I put it in my dubia rose containers. to grow doobie roaches, and I have doobie roach food. This day when I got it, I was like too lazy, and I forgot that I had the doobie roach food, which I have plenty of. I should get more later. But I just threw them all in my cage because my cage is big enough. It's pretty much a doobie roach breeding ground anyway. So like, it makes no sense to throw them in there when I could just throw them in there because they'll survive better in there anyway. And that way, it's way more interesting for my Savannah monitor because he can have like all these different size roaches and crickets. You can hear the crickets going right now. But you know, I only have, like you can see my cage. I only have, there's the cage and the glass is only like 6 inches up. So, and there's a ramp that goes up. So, I see a lot of crickets running around my house. Like, I think maybe I see one over there now, and like I think I killed one the other day. I saw one in my room. I thought, well, I thought, and I flicked it, and I was like, oh shit, I think I just killed it. And I was like, man, I should have pushed him off or like picked him up, because when I see him, I try to get up and pick him up in my hand and throw him in the cage, but that's problematic because a lot of them are hard to catch. And then you could hurt them if you catch them, and I don't like catching them, and what if there's a lot? And so I Amazoned, bug vacuum, and yeah, there's like bug vacuum for kids. Yeah, you'd think they'd have bug vacuums just for escaped bugs for people like me, but I guess there's kids who play with them. So yeah, it was a big old vacuum hole in the little receptacle, so you can suck them up and don't hurt them. So I can go run around and suck them up and just throw them in like the cage again. So that's cool, because it's expensive. I hope I can afford keeping that thing. That's why I need to. Pretty soon, I think it was $27. Pretty soon, I'm gonna buy more. I have to buy more sooner rather than later. And throw them in there to start growing them, and get in the habit. But I'm like so, into this. Plus, that little guy, he's small, he won't be eating that much. So in fact, I think I got them more crickets a little bit early because I came back to throw them in and I saw there was a bunch running around. I just, I didn't want them to get hungry at all, Like, I went into my store, the lizard store, the reptile store the other day. I'm like talking myself into awake. Maybe by the time I'm done with this video, I'll be awake enough to go in the store. But man, they have these huge ass leopard geckos that are like way different from mine. Mine were little, and maybe mine just didn't grow all the way because my cage is small. Like, that's what happens. There was 2 of them in a 20-gallon, and they had these huge ones. And mine eventually died after 8 years. But maybe it's, but anyway, yeah, no, it makes me kind of feel bad about getting a big one and throwing in that 20-gallon, but what the hell was I saying about leopard geckos? Those are $100. I don't really have the money for those right now, but I can get one later. And then for $60, they have morning geckos, which is cool. I mean, crested geckos. So, and I have a little guy there, and they're $60, and they take crickets. I think, what? I might go and get one. I have the little crested gecko thing all ready to go. The girl in there thinks you need more area, but I already got these. So, and I have the crickets too. Maybe I'll get a crested gecko next time I get crickets. But anyway. Oh. I go in there to get crickets, and every time I go in there, I see they have bearded freaking dragons for sale, and I'm like totally fascinated by bearded dragons, like more than the other animals I got, like the tegu or the Savannah monitor. They're just looking at you, and they seem the tamest. And like I was like, man, I want one, but I don't have any cages for them. I don't have any space to put a cage. So then I looked at the top of my refrigerator, they say you need at least 120 gallons. That's 40 gallons, so it's 3 times bigger than that. 3 times bigger than that. So picture 3 of those stacked up, and that's about as much as I have on top of my fridge. So I was like, maybe I could build one on the top of the fridge with chicken wire. The same thing that cage is built out of. That chicken wire right there. So, yeah, I was going to go in and just see what they thought. Take a photo of it on top and say, like, what do I need? Because, and then on top of that, because if the refrigerator's behind that wall, so then I could block that in with chicken wire, and then the little guy can run around the entire place on top of that. So then it's like he gets even more around. So that's cool. I didn't even think about that until yesterday. And they're only $100. So for $260, I can get a leopard gecko, more crested gecko, and bearded dragon. So that's pretty. Oh, and they also sell a little opossum. So I can get an opossum. That'd be cool in the cage there. And then I'll put another bird cage next to it. But I'm just trying to finish this for now. Super fired up for what it looks like. Jazzed that I'm busting through these books and paying attention to it and everything. I keep thinking, but then I forget to see if I can do a Skypey or whatever with Paula, but or WhatsApp, but because maybe she has internet now. She got a computer the other day, but talked to her this morning. So, but I keep forgetting. So we'll see. I'll talk to her again. That'd be interesting. I can show off my Spanish on my YouTube channel for the first freaking time ever talking to somebody else. Yeah, hamster too. They have hamsters every once in a while. They always have guinea pigs. I get a guinea pig for up there if I don't get a opossum. But my hamster died. I get another hamster or two running around through here. That'd be cool. But I'm not really in the mood now. This is just later. But luckily, my roommate's real docile. He's from southern India. So that's what I need. Like my last roommate, dude. I was like, get rid of that tegu and the turtle. And I was like, so if you have somebody who doesn't really give a shit, I can just make this can be my house again. And I can set this thing up as a jungle. I was looking at, the wall around my, fuck it. I think I'll show you because it's pretty. It's going to look pretty. Ball sack scratch. The British people would call it dog's bollocks, which means the dog testicles. Oh. So like with chicken wire, you turn that into the bearded dragon cage, and so you put the chicken wire in front of those suckers, right? Because I was like, am I going to remove that? But then I was like, no, put the chicken wire in front of it, and then you can just water it with those behind, and then that can have all this foliage, flowers, and everything coming off the top of it, and then the chicken wire, and then the little beardy is on top. So you see a bearded dragon in the middle of a jungle, and in the back, I think I'm going to put a bunch of mirrors. So there you go. See, isn't that amazing? And there's my cage for the little whatchamacallit gecko, morning gecko that they thought were extinct until like 1986, for like 100 years. But it's amazing how you like stumble across, new designs. Designing my house, I was mentioning this before when I was doing this last year, but designing my house, like designing my website and thinking about this, that, and the next thing with all the designing, it totally is the same freaking part of my brain as the house. It made me a designer for the house too. So that's why the house is, when it's done, I'm gonna do a YouTube video. I'm gonna submit it for good housekeeping and get the blue ribbon because it's freaking gonna be amazing. Yeah, I talked for 14 minutes. That's long enough. I asked my roommate if he wanted to get. They were. It's not anymore. But for $10, they had another parakeet, but he didn't want it because it was too loud. These suckers are loud at night, like really loud. They're usually way louder than a lot of times, way louder than that. But anyway, yeah, I should probably watch some YouTube videos to see like what they're saying. So, anyways, talk 50 minutes. So, yeah, maybe I'll go in the store. Fuck it, get me an energy drink. Ha. But if I'm tired enough, I drink an energy drink and then I'll still go to sleep. But yeah, I'm just curious to see what they'll say just about the lighting, like how much distance. But I don't think I will. I wouldn't go. No, never mind. I'm not gonna go on there just for that. Because you have to wait anyway, all the time anyway. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is go to. I'm gonna take a nap right now. I'll work a little bit. I usually take a nap when I can't keep my eyes open anymore. But if I'm feel tired, but I can still keep my eyes open, which is where I'm now, I should still work. I think, but the eyes falling asleep is only in 20 or 30 minutes. Once I get this tired. So, anyways, that's enough talking. Fucking amazing listening to that book over and over again. I don't want to get into talking about what I learned, but there's just all sorts of cool, interesting tidbits from history you hear, like the sack of Rome was an instance where they kind of realized that everybody was coming up in the world, like the barbarians were so different than the Romans. The sack of Rome in 410 was Rome's downfall. That was when it happened, when they lost everything. That's when, all the ancient statues and everything disappeared, because the Goths got it, the statues next to the burial site of all the consuls from when it was a republic and stuff, and then the money and everything. So, but I don't think anybody died. One senator died, and then one woman was getting raped, but she didn't want to get raped, so she's fighting the guy. So he cuts her neck, but she keeps fighting. So he's like, "All right, fuck it." So he takes her to the church and tells her to get with the husband again. And then this other dude entered in a room and was like, "Where's the gold?" So she led him to the gold, and she's like, "Yeah, but all those goblets and stuff belong to St. Peter." And he's like, "Oh, really?" So they went and they picked up all the St. Peter's stuff and they brought it to the church because they were Christians too. And yeah, they negotiated with the Pope. Anyway, all those little interesting tidbits. The Huns were a different race. When they came into the Roman Empire, they had short, flat noses, and they were short, and they had dark skin and little eyes. So they were kind of I guess, kind of Asiatic, and because they were a different race, the Romans. I don't know if they believed it or not. That's what he said. But they had the story that they were descendants from the witches, the ancient Scythian witches. Anyways, I've talked enough about that. Yeah, because I could keep going. But when I do listen to this stuff, I make sure, and I'd never finished that book. I need to plug it into all my books. When I'm listening to all this stuff, I listen to it watching along on my timeline. I make sure to know what year it is. In my head, I'm like, okay, what year? Because every time I listen to a historical book, I look at it as preparation for, taking the history test, where the random number generator for the the decades, and you have to, if you want to know the decades, you have to know what decade it is, and so uh, what is going on. So it's like it's training, but only if I know when the decade is. So that's what I'm doing right now. We're at like four. I think like coming up on like 450. Yeah, coming up right on the fall of Rome. This is like one of the most interesting times of history. Like when Rome fell, um, Rome, like the entire Western Roman Empire, fell at the same time because all of all the barbarians got wind of how that there were a barbarian army in there. Then they went back and got more, and then they all came in. And so the Romans brought their armies from England to try to fight in vain. And so England lost their army completely. And so then the barbarians were going into England too. But for 40 years, the barbarians were too busy occupying Europe. So England was Rome, the Roman Empire, for 40 years, but without contact with Rome, without support, like without an army. It was just so they were dealing. Everything was the same, only they didn't have they weren't taking orders from Rome. So anyway, it's just an interesting time of history. There should be more movies about that. Anyways, talked long enough. Ooh, 21 minutes. And I did do the video yesterday too, didn't I? Yeah. So I'm kind of awake. Maybe I'll go in there and get me some. I'm kind of hungry though. Maybe I'll get a sandwich. Because I've like barely been eating, I think I'm gonna make maybe a vegetable. A protein drink first. Trying to get my protein drink timed right, with Amazon. I ran out of protein drink and I was like, oh, I need to fix it, and then like days later, I got this. So, but I don't like having a 5-day period where I don't have it. It's kind of like a part of my staple. But maybe I'll show it later. But oh yeah, I was gonna go in to ask them about the bearded dragon. I don't want to do that though. I don't even go in there during the day. I only go in. They close at 8. I usually wait until at least after 5, so I don't have to wait. Oh man, my tongue dry. So yeah, I'm gonna work a little bit, smoke some weed, and then yeah, go to sleep in probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and wake up this afternoon and try to because like I finished yesterday at 6 in the morning, and then I finished this one at like 5:30. It was like, damn, there was supposed to be less than 24 hours, but that was because I think some days I get to have to more sleep than others, and yesterday was like a sleep day. So today I think I'll get even more caught up, and yeah, I'll zoom through. So this is gonna be super interesting when I'm done. I keep hearing. I'll explain really quickly what I'm working on, because I keep hearing in the book, he's mentioning numbers. This many thousands of people did this many thousands did that, and I'm like, oh man, I want to picture in my head, and I want to. When the Goths went and invaded one time, after they went and had the Battle of Adrianople, kicked the Romans' ass, and they went back to Gothland and said, hey, look, they brought another army. And I think that was the other army. But anyway, they crossed with 3,000 canoes. I was like, Jesus Christ. I want to Google Earth that, but I can't 3D Google Earth it. When things have a lot of numbers, you can Google Earth it, but only with images. But if it has a couple hundred, I could justify doing it with 3D. But like I did 300 and something with the boats that sank and the Roman. But anyway, off the coast of northwest Sicily. But and during the Punic Wars, happened twice. But anyway, at one time it happened right next to the shore, and a bunch of guys managed to survive because they swam ashore. I don't know if it was that one. But anyways, oh man, I shouldn't get sidetracked because then I forget what I'm talking about. Oh man, I was gonna say something. Google Earthing. When they came, the Goth came back the second time, and Yeah, you're playing with fire when you're up that long, and then you try to do it, all these asides, and you can't. And you're stoned. You can't hold a train of thought like that. So I guess I'll have to drop in. Usually when I get back on track, you just back up, but I can't remember what I was talking about before that. Um, but yeah, something about Google Earthing, something. Anyway. Oh, I remember. I was going to explain what I'm doing. I'm glad I remember it. Yeah, because you're looking at these numbers, right? But he's mentioning the numbers here and there. And so what I'm going to do is I have 160,000, and I'm going to it's 400 by 400, 1 through 20, in one folder. So it's 20 folders per row. So you have two sets of the rainbow as you go across. One set to the middle, and then the other set to go across. And then it reverses on the way back. So it staggers. So you can see the 20 from when you're looking at the whole 160,000. Make it 3D because it's 6 feet high. It's people on top of the town, and then I have another version where it's down pegged, and then you have that screen captured, and then you have that placed next to it all over the entire town to try to fill it up with hopefully how many people live there. I think actually he said, Gibbons said that 1.2 million people lived in Rome in 410. It did come crashing down in population, but I don't think there were that many, at least on my calculations that I have. But yeah, I think he was saying that in 410, like they were still super rich in 410. They were having rich people were having wedding parties, week-long wedding parties that would cost 100,000 pounds in 1730. Like, Jesus, how much would that be now? My God. Anyway, I got sidetracked again. What the hell was I talking about? I shouldn't have done that. See, now I totally lost my train of thought completely. Oh, this. So, do a screen capture from 160,000 down to 40,000. Because that's what my inner one is, for number visualization, and then you can do them for even higher numbers with that connected. And so that's 6,000, because 160,000 divided by 20 is 6,000. So I have to do 6,000 screen captures, and then upload that onto Flickr, and then that'll be really heavy too. And then see how that works, You never know exactly until you do it. And then see how it works in icon form and see if it's even possible. I did make it in icon form already another way, so see how it works compared to that. So there's a lot of super interesting stuff that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, so that's why I'm super racing forward to this, but I'm doing it at a really good clip, so I'm happy with. Yeah. The excitement of seeing the end of it is what's motivating me to do all this. Man, I'm starting to get a little bit motivated to go in there and ask him about the animal. I don't mind going. I should go in there and look around. I don't mind looking around, because I'm thinking about getting animals. They have a freaking black throat monitor for sale in there for like $600, but the black throat monitor. I have a Savannah monitor. Black throat monitor is like the biggest monitor that you can get, lizard that you can get. Like realistically, and it's trippy as fuck looking, like YouTube black and white monitor, because they have really big heads. So they're looking like these like animals, these dinosaurs that are just like this. You can see their facial expressions. So he's just like, yeah, trippy. For $6,500, you can get a sloth. I could get a sloth in here because I have my bikes hanging and it can hang out here. And I was thinking about it, but then I was like, that'd be so cruel. Even if I play with them all the time. It's not enough area. Even if he's a jungle gym around my entire apartment, debatable. But I mean, I know there's people who have them in cages that are that size. So maybe I should. What do you think? Should I get a sloth? Five the money? They're trippy looking. I mean, one reason I would want to get a sloth is because you look at this thing and it's got like kind of like a human face is looking at you. Just 10,000 years ago, in our history, and they actually show up in myth and legend. They're talking about monsters and stuff, and they're sloths. And some people think they still exist in the Amazon. Are like huge. They're like the biggest animals out there, bigger than the biggest grizzly bear. Imagine that thing. And they have these big fangs. Like they still have tunnels in South America that the sloths made with piles of sloth shit. It's crazy that it was like that recently that they were around. It's crazy when you look around and see like vestiges of the past. Like the antelope can run really fast because the animal used to run after it. The saber-toothed tiger used to run after it. It doesn't exist anymore. And then vestiges with the human culture, which is even more interesting, which I'll include in my timeline and my website. Oh man, I can't think of one now, but there was an interesting one I was thinking about. Anyways, I've talked enough. Yeah, I'm kind of awake. I think I might head over there. Yeah, and then I get an energy drink. I got 2 this morning, but I got like the cheap kind. I can go in there and get the good. I'm going to get the good one, the C4, and pound that bitch. Get all nice and down on my face. I did the balls, and then maybe it'll keep me up enough to do a little bit more working. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.